It's time to add some spice to your nooner. Nooner funny. This is the place where big-time guests, bold opinions, and little cute doggies come together. This is Rothman and Ice.
Sponsored by Pella Columbus, the #1 rated windows and doors in Columbus.
Welcome in, 4th of July edition of Rothman and Ice. Ryan Baker filling in for the boys today. Cam Taylor, you heard him there on the update on the other side of the glass. And making his maiden voyage here on 97.1 The Fan, former Buckeye, Chicago Bear, and Cincinnati Bengal wide receiver extraordinaire, Dane Sanzenbacher. Dane, great to have you along and part of the team.
Oh, love the applause. Ryan, it's a pleasure. I'm excited to do this thing.
It's been fun. You came in, what was it, about a month ago?
Yeah.
Hung out with DeVere and Timmy for a Buckeye show for about an hour. And that was the first time that you had been here, but you're coming aboard. You're going to be doing some Buckeye football stuff this fall and hosting with us as well. And we get you for the first time today here on Rothman and Ice.
Yep. I'm hanging out with you all fall, but doing, I think, some high school football stuff too.
There we go.
I'll be there for some pregame tailgates. So, yeah, really, I'm just here to hang out with you guys.
Very good. That's fun.
I'll bring whatever expertise I can.
That's what we all do, is we just come in here and hang out.
I'm trying to fit in.
So we're going to have a pretty good show here today. Talk some Buckeye recruiting. Unfortunately, this week, yesterday, another loss on the Buckeye recruiting trail, an offseason for Ohio State that has pretty much hit every check mark along the way until this past week with some recruiting losses. So we will talk about that. Dane, we mentioned, obviously, former Buckeye receiver, did it at the highest level as well. Get his thoughts on this Ohio State receiving room this year and kind of how the receiving room at Ohio State has changed since he has played for the Buckeyes as well. We'll hit you with a Buckeye Bulletin coming out at 12:48. President Ted Carter was on a podcast the other day, 11 Warriors podcast, and said some interesting things. We'll let you hear some of that as well. We'll take a deeper dive into Matt Mililer's first mock draft for the 2025 NFL draft. We'll do that with a deep dive at 1 o'clock. And then we're abbreviated show today. We'll be going just till 1:30. Phillies and Cubs will be on the Fan after that. So we'll wrap up the show then with Tell the Truth. But Dane, since this is your first show here hosting on the Fan, I want to do a little thing where we get to know Dane. So
right.
You grew up in Maumee, Ohio, correct? Which is a suburb of Toledo?
I actually grew up in Toledo.
Okay,
I don't know where the Maumee thing came from. The first time I saw it was on the NCAA game.
Okay.
And I'm thinking it was because at the time they had to make it close enough to the real player, but just not close enough.
Okay, interesting.
So I think that's where Maumee came from. No, I grew up in South Toledo.
So you were from Toledo.
Yep.
Mom and dad, brothers, sisters?
Mom and dad and brother are still up in Toledo. Yep.
Okay.
Got one older brother. Mom and dad are still up there. We get up there and visit when we can.
Did the older brother play football as well?
He did not. My brother is about as opposite of me as you can get. And I don't know why we took those paths. He played lacrosse a little bit in high school. But no, he went to Ohio State when I was there. So we were in school together for a couple years, and he has a fine arts degree. So painting and drawing, and still works in that field.
Family life now?
Family life now. Married, and I've got a little one.
Okay.
I live in Dublin.
Very nice, very nice. And you just came back to Central Ohio recently.
Yeah, 2019.
Okay.
Which was a great time to reintroduce because COVID hit a few months later and everything was locked down. Mm-hmm. But yeah, my wife actually got a job at the time at Ohio Wesleyan University.
Okay.
So that's
Delaware.
that's what pulled us back down. So after I was done, I guess I'll give you the brief background. After I was done in 2014 in Cincinnati. So I did 2 years in Chicago, 2 in Cincinnati, moved back to Toledo. So worked a couple years actually at a news station up there. I was at Channel 11 in Toledo. Did a little bit of radio stuff here and there, but mostly TV. Met my wife actually at the station. So she got a job down here, moved us back to Central Ohio. We've loved it. I never thought I'd end up back here actually. But since we've been back, I've gotten to see a whole nother side of it that you don't really get when you're just in college and on campus and working as much as you have to on the football team.
Yeah.
So yeah, we love being back and a couple years in.
It's interesting how many former Buckeyes, and now we even see it with the Blue Jackets being here, they end up making their permanent home in here because it is such a great town and there's so much to do. And like you said, campus and downtown is one thing, but Columbus is just a whole bigger area.
That's been the best part, is the other guys too that have made this their home.
Mm-hmm.
Even guys I wouldn't know. Like, I didn't play with Tyvis. A handful of guys that they have not from Columbus but have ended up back here and live here are some of my good friends now, and that's just a circle I didn't even think of when I was done and moving back to Toledo. I was like, this is my hometown. Still have a bunch of family up here, but Columbus definitely feels like home.
You played high school football at Toledo Central Catholic. It's a powerhouse in the state. They just won a state championship last year. They've won quite a few throughout the time. Greg Dempsey, was he your coach as well?
So I caught Coach Dempsey probably on his third year or so.
Okay.
And I think that's so. And we were definitely not considered a powerhouse when I was there. We ended up winning the state championship my junior year, and that kind of got the ball rolling there. And I think what they've been able to do is just what we just said. Greg Dempsey's still there. They've built some guys that I played with are now on the staff. If in a high school you can build continuity in a coaching staff, yeah, you can have success over many, many years. And they've, I don't even know how many they're up to at this point. But yes.
You obviously went there. Some other great players, Michael Warren, Deshaun Kaiser. I mean, there's been some studs that have come from that school. Ohio State, you end up coming down here, playing receiver. Was Ohio State always your dream? Did you think that was that the goal all along?
No, because I did not think that was a reality. It was never on my radar. Northwest Ohio itself wasn't that highly recruited to Ohio State or any really Big Ten schools. So no, I didn't think that was even a possibility until it was, and then it was a no-brainer. But I mean, I grew up like everybody else up there. Ohio State, Michigan. Ohio State is a pro team up there. Mm-hmm. Ohio State, Michigan is another holiday in Toledo, Northwest Ohio. And so it was just always part of my life. And it wasn't until, my senior year of high school when this became a possibility. And then from then on, it almost felt like not reality for the next 5-6 years. It just happened so fast. And then you're part of this thing. No, I feel lucky to have been a part of it, but it was never part of the plan.
You come to Ohio State, you play with some great players. Jim Tressel, obviously, what a run he had there at the school. I've heard stories from a lot of the guys around here now that you were going to be a part of what we do here, talking about you and saying at one-on-one drills you were unguardable. What do you think was your one trait that separated you from anyone else?
Well, it's funny you mentioned that. When I came in, I said I need to start listening to the show more, because the word is people are saying I don't look like a wide receiver, or I'm not in shape. Was it?
No,
remind me what this was.
That was just Tyvis. That's not what was said. We were just talking in general about how usually professional athletes, they're just built different. Like yesterday you had Bobby and you had Jack Sawyer sitting in those two chairs over there. And they are just different dudes. Like, that's not something that you can teach or you can learn, and you can lift and you can be bigger. But those shoulders and that size, like, that's just God-given. You don't teach that. So guys that get to the next level, for the most part, they look different as far as size. When you have a guy that's a little smaller, like yourself, you're, 5'10", 180 pounds, 5'11", 180 pounds?
I'm 5'11", probably 175
and
right
what
now.
were you when you played?
Pretty close to that.
So it was kind of a compliment to you because you don't have that size. There has to be something super special athletically that you can do that can catch someone's eye when you're going against all these guys that are huge, like a DeVere, who you played with. DeVere is a bit like, he's 6'3", he's a bigger guy. Tyvis, he played safety, but he's a bigger guy.
Oh, since I've been back here, I don't ever get mistaken for a former professional athlete. It doesn't happen. And I always kind of felt like I was getting not that I didn't belong, but that, yes, I am a normal size human. I'm just an average size person, and being in these locker rooms with people that are built like Jack and Bobby. Mm-hmm. Obviously, you play different positions. I mean, within football, there's like 4 different sports. The offensive line is technically playing football and receivers are playing football, but we're playing a completely different thing. So I think I was able to find a niche there. But I don't know. It's funny. I don't think I have a stat that would really stand out. My 40 was pretty middle of the road. I guess the one that I would have is I think I'm still, somebody else, and you guys can fact check this, somebody else told me about this. I think I'm still top 10 in combine 3-cone drill. So if I had to give a physical attribute, I would say that change of direction because that's all one-on-ones are. You're playing in because it's always press coverage, you're playing in a phone booth. So it doesn't really straight line speed. It's how quickly you can move within a 2 to 3 yard radius. And, that doesn't take size. That takes just, my job is to get away from these people. I'm not running anybody over. Bobby and Jack have a completely different job than I had. So, yeah, I guess I would attribute it to that. But, I mean, I never really thought about my size. And maybe it's I also didn't think about football when I was playing as a career or a specialization that I was doing. I mean, and this was in 2006 or 7. I was playing both sides of the ball. You're just playing football. It wasn't like a receiver and trying to fit a mold. So I don't know. I guess I just tried to carry that, just playing football into, my career at Ohio State and into the NFL. And it worked out. But it was weird being a normal sized guy among monsters. Still, when we do our golf outing, I'd say I play with Jake Ballard and Jake Stoneburner sometimes and Reed Fragel. And it's like I'm golfing with guys in the WWE. Like you see us on the tee box, I'm the only one that's sticking out.
And Jake Ballard hits it a country mile as well. So you just don't know where it's going.
You don't know where it's going, but it's out there.
We're going to do a little more of getting to know Dane coming up in the next segment because I want to ask you about your favorite Buckeye memory and then maybe a memory that you have from the NFL as well. Plus, we'll get to some of this OSU recruiting news as they lose out on a recruit yesterday. 4th of July edition, Rothman and Ice, Ryan Baker, Dane Sanzenbacher in for the boys. 97.1 The Fan.
We've been your Jackets flagship station since day one. All the goals, all the action, all the memories. Your home for the Columbus Blue Jackets, the Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Incredible lease deals for my friends at Germain Honda of Dublin. Now through July 6th, lease a 2024 Civic LX for $249 a month or a 24 Accord LX for $259 a month. Even a CRV front-wheel drive for $279 a month. 36-month lease, payments plus tax, title, document fees, and $29.99 due at signing. 10,000 miles a year, includes Honda loyalty with approved credit. From the Honda dealership in Central Ohio, Germain Honda of Dublin, Sawmill Parkway, just south of 270.
Raising Cane's iced tea is the official iced tea of me, Iced Tea. Now, I heard some people order their box combos with water. Listen, water is for fishes and snitches, Jack. Chill out with Cane's iced tea this summer. Raising Cane's chicken fingers. One love.
Listen up, gamers. Mountain Dew has always been your go-to for a refreshing citrus kick. Now it's also your go-to for gaming rewards. With Mountain Dew Gaming Rewards, you just look for codes under the caps of specially marked 20-ounce bottles of Mountain Dew. Enter those codes online to bank points, and then redeem them for awesome gaming gear. Everything from gift cards, game copies, controllers, consoles, custom Mountain Dew gaming gear, and more. Join Mountain Dew Gaming Rewards now.
Open to legal U.S. residents 18+. Subject to program terms at mountaindewgaming.com and 2525. Voter prohibited.
At UDF, our made-from-scratch peach ice cream is back with a bonus. When you buy 3 48-ounce cartons, you can quickly stack an extra 20 cents a gallon in gas savings. UDF peach ice cream, made for you, while supplies last with an opted-in UDrive account.
Atlas Butler is built to keep you comfortable, and our plumbing services are no exception. You can rely on Atlas Butler for trusted, convenient plumbing and drain service. Our expert plumbers and drain specialists can take care of anything, from a broken water heater to a clogged drain. Call today, get it fixed today. That's our pledge to you.
Atlas Butler is at your service. Call 1-800-FURNACE.
Rise and shine, jabronis.
What a show this morning.
There's only one place where Buckeye legends lay the smackdown. Morning Juice with Bobby and Beamer.
Weekday mornings starting at 6.
Give me a juice box,
The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
If you have ever thought about remodeling your bathroom but were worried it would take too long or cost too much, then stop worrying. Right now, Jacuzzi Bath Remodel has designed a collection of high-quality custom products and perfected the one-day remodeling experience so you can enjoy your new bathroom faster than ever before. It's a worry-free bath remodel from the most trusted brand name in the business, Jacuzzi. A jacuzzi bath system fits in your existing tub space. It's a no-mess installation with an amazing style selection, factory-certified installers, and a limited lifetime warranty. Call 800-717-4599. That's 800-717-4599 right now and get 50% off installation with no interest and no payments for 12 months. Replace that old bathtub today with a walk-in shower for a safer bathing experience. If you have lived in your home for over 15 years, it's time to remodel your bathroom. For a virtual or in-home appointment, call 800-717-4599. That's 800-717-4599. 800-717-4599.
I've always wanted 3 kids. I came from a family of 3 kids, and I started picturing having 3 car seats in the back of my truck.
That's Megan, Wisconsin native, working mom of 2 and lifelong conservative. Megan never thought she would get an abortion until a diagnosis late in her pregnancy changed everything.
Doctors told us our baby had no chance to survive. And because of Wisconsin's abortion ban, I would be forced to carry my baby for months, knowing he would die. It felt like a bad dream. It felt like a bad dream.
To get the care she needed, Megan had to leave the state. And now if senators in Washington pass a national abortion ban, families like Megan's will have nowhere to turn.
These decisions should be made privately amongst women and their families. And government should have no say in that. No senator in Washington should support a national abortion ban.
Paid for by Free and Just. Visit freeandjust.us to learn more.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Skies are clear for now. Temperatures on the rise. We'll see highs in the lower 80s, but it's going to feel more like the 90s thanks to that humidity. Showers and thunderstorms get started as we head through lunchtime and into the evening hours. They do slowly wind down, so you might have to delay getting outside and firing up the grill, but you'll definitely be able to do that later this evening. I'm meteorologist Madison Reich with your Dopplerton forecast on The Fan.
Bet365 is the exclusive online sportsbook of Rothman and Ice. Whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365.
There's nothing like ripping off your pants and enjoying some lobster bisque. This is Rothman and Ice.
It is 4th of July edition of Rothman and Ice. Ryan Baker and Dane Sanzenbacher. Glad to have you along. We're filling in for the fellas. Cam Taylor is here as well. The Schmitz-Cardell-Jones Celebrity Softball Game is right around the corner. Why picnic when you can Schmitnick? It's presented by Monogram Homes. It all goes down Saturday, July 20th over at Huntington Park. 6:30 start time. The current Ohio State football players, led by Emeka Egbuka, taking on the former Ohio State players led by Captain Cardell Jones. Some of the former players with Cardell: Tyvis Powell, DeVere Posey, James Laurinaitis, Boom Herron, just to name a few. Some of the current players you will see: Jack Sawyer, Will Howard, Devin Brown, JTT, Lincoln Keenholz. That's the guy I'm excited to see because he was a great baseball player.
Oh, can he play?
In South Dakota. Yeah, he was a 3-sport star up in South Dakota. USA Today High School Player of the Year his senior year. So that should be fun to see. Emeka Egbuka, the reigning home run derby champ. Tickets, they're just $10. They're available right now at BuckeyeCruise.com. Get your tickets right now. And Dane, we were talking, you were there last year. You haven't gotten the call yet. We got to get that call happening soon here so you can plan for this.
I think you just put the pressure on, so I'll keep an eye on my phone. Yeah, I've done it before, and it's worth the price of admission just to see some of these current guys hit the ball. I mean, it's kind of unreal. 2 years ago, it was all former guys. Mm-hmm. We didn't have current do it, and it changed it so much and made it really fun when the current guys could come on because they're still in peak shape. Yeah, and they're hitting these softballs out into the alley and back, bouncing it off the brick walls.
It was fun last year seeing Emeka and Steele, like you talked about, just what great athletes they were and great baseball players as well. Seeing Draymond Jones, like, this guy's supposed to be playing defensive line in the NFL. He's playing third base in this softball game. It was just pretty fun. So, yeah, and you mentioned worth the price. The price has actually gone down this year, just $10 to get in. So head over to BuckeyeCruise.com right now to get those tickets. We were doing a little getting to know Dane since this is his first time hosting on The Fan. And, Dane, I wanted to ask you if there is a favorite memory or something that sticks out in your mind more than others from your time at Ohio State.
Oh, there's a lot. The one that always sticks out to me, I at risk of just sounding arrogant, is post my senior year. We had a postseason banquet where there's a lot of team voted on awards, and Coach Tressel made the announcement that the same person had won both MVP and most inspirational, and it was me. And it was something I didn't see coming, and I don't know why it's always meant so much to me. I think it was because it was a team-voted thing. It's just the one that always sticks out. And I know it's an individual thing, but I think, like, that team was so close. We had such great captains and poured so much into, I mean, this was obviously a different world than college kind of is now with all the transfer. We were all there as freshmen together the whole time. We poured everything into that season. And it probably meant a lot because of that. And also in hindsight means a lot because that was Tress's last season. So yeah, that's always stuck out to me. On top of all if you're asking me game, it's Rose Bowl.
Yeah.
No question. Being in Pasadena when the sun is setting is an unreal thing to look at. Like, it looks as cool as it does on the TV broadcast. So that's always and they took such great care of us out in LA. Stuff to do every day for the players. You really got to experience it. Yeah, that was something else.
So you leave Ohio State. You mentioned you go to the pros. You play 2 years with the Bears, 2 years with the Bengals. Do you have a favorite memory from that time? Yeah, my rookie year in Chicago, we got to play the international game in London. And those were just getting started. I think that was only maybe the second or third year they'd done it. And so the process wasn't fun. We had your night of sleep was on the plane from Chicago to London. But it was so cool being there. I think we must have played the Jaguars because I think they were always playing the international game. They seem to always do it.
They were always in it at that time. And we played I believe it was at Wembley. And you just had the fans were just fans of any team. So it was all the jerseys were there. They're cheering for both teams. So we were more than tired. We were jet lagged. We had gotten there 2 days before maybe. But it was just a unique experience that you don't get often. It's even in the sport. You could have played in the NFL if you didn't get to play in that game. It just always sticks with me. And what sticks out the most is how they do their national anthem. So they did both of them. They did God Save the Queen. They did ours. So everybody was quiet when they're singing the national anthem. The girl was awesome. We're just like, gosh, yeah, proud to be Americans. They start singing God Save the Queen. The whole stadium sings it. Everybody. And I was like, man, because even now it's common that you just stand respectfully while the anthem is going. But when the whole stadium was singing it, like, we got chills just hearing that. It was really cool.
I can, I'm a big hockey guy, and I can imagine they've seen that, like Stanley Cup games when they do the Canadian national anthem in the Canadian cities, and it's kind of the same thing. It's almost like a Goosebumps experience.
Yep.
I can imagine, too, you play over here and you've got fans for the team. So you've either got people loving you or they're hating you. But over there, they're just so excited to have football. It's something they've never seen. It's a spectacle to them, and I bet that's a really cool experience.
It was much different because it was not a home or away game. It was just these guys were here to see us be entertaining, essentially.
So you talked about your time in Toledo after you played, being at the TV station. You started doing some sports casting there, and then they were going to not do sports anymore. Is that right? Or how did that go that you were like, hey, can I just do regular news reporting?
They brought me in to do sports, of course. That was the end. It was coming up, we might have even been in football season. So there was a lot for us to do. We did the Ohio State-Michigan pregame show, and we came down here to do it. After football season was over, though, there wasn't really enough content for another person in there. We had 2 anchors already. So a lot of times I wasn't busy enough at work. Well, if you know the Root newsroom and you guys are connected here, there's never a shortage of, if you're going to volunteer your time to go find stories, they'll let you do it. So I actually spent 2 years just as a beat reporter. I mean, covering anything in Toledo, house fires, from city council stuff, whether it's serious news, lighthearted. It got to a point after a couple years, I think I was starting to confuse our audience that knew me as one thing, but I was reporting on really anything. And I already had history in the town. There's no way I was going to beat down doors and be a hard-hitting journalist. It wasn't my place to do so. But it was a heck of an experience. I learned a lot. And I learned that one, I met my wife. 2, I learned it is not an easy job to be in local news. I have nothing but respect for these guys because it is not an easy job.
So I can only imagine now you're doing stuff with us. Dom Tiberi's going to be beating down the door here soon, trying to steal you and take you over to 10 TV. You'll be doing stuff with Dom and Adam all the time now.
I wouldn't be surprised.
We mentioned that Ohio State lost out on a top recruit. That's a couple this week. We will get to that coming up next. We'll also get Dane's assessment on this Ohio State wide receiving room as well. 4th of July edition, Rothman and Ice, Ryan Baker, Dane Sanzenbacher in for the fellas, 97.1 The Fan.
Tweet from a listener. Are you carrying the Buckeye game today? Considering we've never not carried one, yes. The answer is yes. The Fan.
Attention aspiring media stars. Are you ready to take your talent to the next level? Register for your chance to win the Be On Air Summer Slam contest. This is your chance to showcase your skills in a thrilling 30-second live script challenge. Visit now at studiocontest.com to secure your spot and compete for amazing prizes, including a 4-hour studio session, Shure MV7 microphone, and Audio-Technica M20X headphones. Don't miss out on this dynamic event. Be On Air Summer Slam contest, where talent meets opportunity. Visit studiocontest.com and sign up today.
I'm Leslie from Pella Columbus.
And I'm Wilson from that other window place. And aspiring comedian.
That's fun. What's your best joke?
All right, 2 windows were hanging out side by side. The first window says, "Sure is a hot day." The other one says, "Ah, a talking window."
That's pretty good, Wilson.
Bet you can't top that one.
Well, at Pella, we don't have the talking windows, but we do have the windows your friends will talk about.
Dang it, that's good.
Get the window that Columbus homeowners rate the leading and most trusted at PellaColumbus.com.
America's favorite car show returns to Columbus with a jam-packed weekend of cool cars, cool people, and good times. It's the Good Guys 26th Summit Racing National, and it's all happening July 12th through the 14th at the Ohio Expo Center. Cruise on out with your family and friends and check out over 6,000 of the country's coolest classics on display. And don't miss Good Guys CPP Autocross Racing action, Nitro Thunderfest, a huge swap meet and vendor midway, live music, family fun, and so much more. It's Ohio's biggest hot rod party of the summer, and it's all going down July 12th through the 14th at the Ohio Expo Center. Get details at goodguysguide.com.
Swimming is a great way to exercise and spend time with family and friends. Always swim with a buddy, keep an eye on children, and be prepared in an emergency if there is no lifeguard on duty. The next time you go to the pool, be water smart and know where the safety equipment is located. Complete the Ohio Department of Health Safety Equipment Scavenger Hunt and learn more about pool safety at odh.ohio.gov/swim. Have a safe swim.
One of the most important Buckeye football seasons ever is coming. The Fan is your home for all the news and interviews you need as fall camp approaches. Join us. We're a friendly bunch of degenerates. Your Buckeye station, The Fan.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call, and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit. 800-893-2288. 800-893-2288. 800-893-2288.
The wait is over. Dell Technologies Black Friday and July deals are live. Check out incredible savings on select laptops and more, like the XPS 15, powered by Intel Core processors. The XPS 15 brings you the perfect balance of power and portability, plus stellar visuals and immersive sound. When you shop online at Dell.com/deals, you'll have access to exceptional tech and electronics, plus free shipping on everything. Don't miss out on Black Friday and July savings at Dell.com/deals. That's Dell.com/deals.
Thanks for calling Discover. This is Diego.
Hi, Diego. It's Jennifer Coolidge. You know, I just want to say your cashback match makes me feel so special. It really inspired me.
That's great. Doubling the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year is what we do.
Well, I'm doubling everything now. Double dating, double dipping, double feature, double header, double whammy. You know, basically double or nothing.
You earn, we match. Discover Cashback Match. See terms at discover.com/creditcard.
Rothman and Ice is sponsored by your local Pella Window and Door showroom on Gemini Parkway. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Fascinating, informative, covered in dog slobber. You're listening to Rothman and Ice.
Time to do a little Bet 365, because at Bet 365, they don't do ordinary. I feel it was only appropriate, Dane, on America's birthday that we do something with America's team. And I don't know if they are America's team, but Jonathan India said last year that the Reds were America's team, and that kind of dubbed him as Captain America to Reds fans. They're going for the sweep against the Yankees today, so I feel like it's only appropriate on the 4th of July that Captain America hits a home run.
I agree.
So Jonathan India to hit a home run today in the series finale against the Yankees, which gets underway in New York at 105, is plus 650. So if you throw $100 on Jonathan India to hit a home run today, I don't know if I recommend that.
He didn't last night.
You'd win $650.
And I only know that because we had friends in town, and one did bet on Jonathan India hitting a home run.
Did they really? How about that?
Did not hit.
Well, they should have waited one day and done that on the 4th of July.
Should have known.
Whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. They are the official betting partner of the Cleveland Guardians, even though we were talking about the Cincinnati Reds today. 21 or only, must be present in Ohio. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. Dane, it was a bummer this week. Actually, it's been a bummer for most of the week, even though there was some good recruiting news for Ohio State in the fact that Maxwell Roy has committed to the Buckeyes this week. There were some big-time recruits that said they would not be coming to Ohio State. And that was a bummer in the fact that, yeah, you really wanted these guys in Dorian Brew, who was one of the top cornerbacks in the country, Jordan Davison, who was a top running back that they were recruiting. Both of those guys went to Oregon. But this offseason has been so good for Ohio State. We don't like talking about the Cotton Bowl. DeVere says that never happened. But it was almost like a low point in Ohio State history. And there's not a lot of low points in Ohio State history, but that Cotton Bowl was one of those. And it seems like since that night, everything has just gone to plan for the Ohio State team. And one of their plans, it seemed like they really wanted Justin Hill, a linebacker, edge rusher, however you want to predict him at the next level, kid from Cincinnati, Winton Woods. It really seemed like all along, Ohio State was the team for him. And then we find out yesterday he's going to Alabama. And it just seemed with the news of the other guys this week, Dorian Brew and Jordan Davis, it seemed like such a blow.
Probably because what you just said, everything has been going right.
So good.
I went back, and I haven't followed the recruiting trail all that much, but I went back and tried to look at who we do have. And geez, I mean, yeah, I guess it's one of those you can't get them all. And it's such a tough, the recruiting trail is such a tough business. I mean, it's changed now, but to get a guy to choose you, to get his family to buy in and choose you based off of, weekend visits, and there's only so much you can do. Yeah, I mean, it's a tough one, but I personally don't get too, I mean, these are incoming freshmen at the end of the day. Now, they're going to be, sure, great, but we've got a lot of guys now on the team still haven't had a chance to show themselves and prove themselves that, 2 years ago were these guys. So, I mean, I think your class is still so strong. You want to have them all. You want to win them all, but I don't know.
I've heard a lot of good points about this. And again, Ohio State initially offered this kid on March 23rd of 2023. So this is a kid they've been going after. 6'4", 225 pounds. I've heard a lot of good points from people talking about this situation. And let's not forget, you talk about the players on the team. Ohio State in this class already has the number 60 player in the country who's an edge rusher, the number 66 player in the country who is also an edge rusher, and then another kid in London Merritt, who I've seen video of him the past couple weeks at some camps just dominating people as an edge rusher. Like, how is this kid not ranked with these other guys almost? So, and Justin Hill's the number 58 prospect in this class. So right around Zahir Mathis and Zion Grady. So you already had a lot of guys. One of the things I've heard about this is they keep talking about this jack position that's never, for whatever reason, ever worked out really here at Ohio State with Jim Knowles. And maybe it's they just haven't had the right personnel. But I've heard people talk about kids want to see, not only hear about your plan for them, but they want to see it on the field and working. And they haven't seen that at Ohio State.
Explain to me the jack position. I don't know this.
It's basically like a edge rusher that's standing. So almost like an outside linebacker, but they're not really playing a linebacker. They're just rushing the passer. They tried Jack Sawyer there. It never really worked. They didn't use it at all last year. Some people have kind of thought maybe a Sonny Styles, C.J. Hicks could fill into that role this year. I don't know. But they talk about this jack position, and there's just no really film seeing it here at Ohio State. So maybe it's a thing like, well, you're telling me you want to do this, but I don't have any proof that it works there.
It sounds like he's one of the main things he cited was Alabama's plan for his growth in said position. So maybe you've seen it in action, you've seen it work, and you can point to a guy that's done it. When you are as highly touted as that, I guess that's the point you get in your recruiting, that you're like, okay, let me go to a place that I can guarantee I'm gonna succeed, and we've seen proof that I can succeed here.
The other thing with this is almost like a Caleb Downs. From all intents and purposes, he went to Alabama because he had seen the production from the safety room. Now, would he have came to Ohio State if Nick Saban was still there? I don't know. But we saw production from the Ohio State safeties last year. You already had those inroads. Caleb Downs comes here. Maybe it's a situation where down the road, Justin Hill is like, oh, I see their plan now. Maybe being a Cincinnati kid, he'll reverse course. Who knows? That's the crazy thing with recruiting now is you got to keep these relationships good with these kids, whether they're coming here or not, because with the transfer portal, they could be here next year.
And that's another point to the recruiting news. Can follow it loosely, but there's nothing to say, hey, okay, go cut your teeth as a freshman at Bama. You're going to get great experience. There's nothing to say you couldn't be here when it is your time. So, I mean, at least we know we have that good relationship with him, and I think you're right. Maybe it's wishful thinking, but you get him to come home.
Another position this year that I don't think we're worried about the talent at all, but we haven't seen a lot of production on the field from the group is the wide receiver room. Emeka Egbuka, obviously, we know what he's done. We know what he can do. Injuries last year kind of derailed his season a little bit. I think most people think if he comes in and has a year like he did 2 years ago where his numbers were right on par with Marvin Harrison Jr., he's going to be a guy that's a first-round pick in this next year's NFL draft. The rest of the guys, though, Jeremiah Smith, Carnell Tate, Brandon Ennis, we know all the talent is there, but we just haven't seen any on-field production really outside of Carnell Tate a little bit last year. What you know from this wide receiver class, or this group of wide receivers at Ohio State, what do you like or do you think we need to worry about with this group?
I don't think we have seen any evidence in the past few years that receiver is a point where Ohio State needs to worry. They've always seemed to make it work. I think this is part of what is so exciting about this year's team is that you're so touted, right? And all of us in the media and everybody's pouring all this
former coaches
hype onto this team, how talented they are. But with that, there are also so many questions. There are so many questions of how do these guys fit? What does quarterback play look like? What are our receivers going to look like? And these are big questions that we don't have answers. So you have this so much unknown on a team that has so much expected of them. That leads to such an exciting year to watch how this thing plays out.
With Emeka Egbuka, what you've seen from him, what do you like about Emeka? What do you think makes him special?
Emeka has done a great job in the past few years of fitting in where he's needed. You talked about 2 years production was up. Last year maybe didn't hit that mark. It just feels like it's his time. It feels like, okay, I've been here, waited my turn behind guys that are great, and it's my time to be number one. And I think he's fitting into that mold of, tough, strong receivers. We've had all types at Ohio State. You had the Chris Olave's taking the top off, but I think that's what's always impressed me about him. And seeing him in person, it's just like, it's not me. It's not. You're not going to mistake him for not being a really a professional level athlete. And he's been able to display that on the field.
Ohio State, I was thinking about this today because I was thinking about asking you the difference between the emphasis that Ohio State put on the wide receivers from back when you were playing to now. And it's kind of crazy to think that way because there were so many good Ohio State receivers back then. You think of 2002 and you had Michael Jenkins and Chris Gamble and Santonio Holmes, and it went into Ted Ginn and Anthony Gonzalez and you and DeVere. So Ohio State has always had good receivers. But I think of that Rose Bowl against Utah just a couple years ago. On that roster, even though they didn't play, you had Garrett Wilson, you had Chris Olave, you had Marvin Harrison Jr., you had JSN, you had Emeka Egbuka. All five of those could be first-round draft picks if Emeka goes in the first round next year. And then you think Jameson Williams had been in that receiving room before he transferred to Alabama that year. He was a number one pick as well. It's crazy to think all the wide receiver talent Ohio State has had in the past few years.
It is unreal. And it's not normal. I think the expectation that it's going to keep going like that is a tough one to have. You're right in saying that in the past, it used to feel like it was two at a time, right? It was like, okay, here's your two starters. Here's Santonio, here's Teddy and Gonzo, and then it goes on. Here's Hartline, Rubisky, me, DeVere. It felt like it went like that. Football kind of changed a little bit in that next era, that it took more guys. I think when Urban came in, the offense looked different. It took more guys contributing on that level. But I don't think we had really talented guys, but what you just rattled off, there's not a school in the country that's produced receivers like that. And I think part of it is recruiting and getting the right guys. Part of it is knowing what guys you want to go after and get because you see their potential in your system, and then getting them to buy in. And one thing I've always seen out of our receivers in the recent years, really since Coach Day's been there, since Urban, since Coach Hartline's been on staff, is how confident all these guys play. And receivers, just like cornerbacks and quarterbacks, is a confidence game. There's a whole piece of it that you have to know you're the best out there. All the best corners you've ever seen were wildly confident, overly confident, really, because you're going to get beat sometimes. Same thing with receiver. You might drop a ball. You might miss or misstep and fall on this route. But all of these guys, when they're in game mode, and from what I can see when I'm watching, they know they're the best squad out there. So I don't have any reason to think that coming into this year, you wouldn't have a couple guys that are going to show themselves. They're going to show themselves to be that next level of, we're the guys.
Yeah, the talent is crazy. And then shame on me. How could I forget Brian Robisky, one of the greats from that era as well, around the time you played. Ted Carter, he was on the Real Wednesday Pod, I believe is the name of it, for the Real Pod Wednesday, for 11 Warriors with Andy Anders and Dan Hope the other day. He had something interesting to say that kind of caught my attention. We'll talk about that next in the Buckeye Bulletin. It's Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
The only radio show Ryan Day listens to when we're holding him hostage, making him listen to a radio show. The Buckeye Show.
Weeknights at 6.
The Fan.
Low testosterone causes many issues, including low sex drive, bad sleep patterns, unproductive workouts, decreased energy, brain fog, and more. But many men just attribute these symptoms to aging and don't consider that there are medical treatments that can give them back their vigor and vibrancy. This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health, the leading men's sexual health practice in our area for treating low T. And if you're feeling like I just described, it's time for you to treat that low T. At Tri-State Men's Health, we're experts in treating low testosterone. We've successfully treated many men for the condition and seen the amazing difference that those treatments can make in a man's life. If you're like most men with low T, within just a few weeks, your energy will return, that brain fog will disappear, your sleep will improve, as will your workouts, and your sex drive will be significantly enhanced as well. So call us and make a true life change. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on testosterone the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com. We have 2 convenient locations, just off 270 in Hilliard and near the Medical Mile in Westerville.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
It's a red, white, and cool sale at Logan Services. Red hot savings up to $2,700 off a train system. And take advantage of 0% APR financing for 72 months. And pick one freebie for extra home comfort this summer. Plus, check out tax credits up to $2,600. With a system for every home and every budget, it's hard to stop a train. Find us online and book your free estimate now. Fast, friendly service, Logan Services.
Attention weekend warriors. Fan Sports Saturday has moved to 10 a.m. Join Eric Reeser and Tyvis Powell as they dive into popular topics like the Buckeyes and Tyvis's liquid diet.
Saturdays from 10 to 1.
The Fan.
At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. We believe that every sport should be epic. Every home run, every hit, every inning, every play, from the moments that are legendary to the ones that fly under the radar.
Whether it's a walk-off granny or a base hit to center field, whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. 21 and older, must be present in Ohio. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Swimming is a great way to exercise and spend time with family and friends. Always swim with a buddy, keep an eye on children, and be prepared in an emergency if there is no lifeguard on duty. The next time you go to the pool, be water smart and know where the safety equipment is located. Complete the Ohio Department of Health Safety Equipment Scavenger Hunt and learn more about pool safety at odh.ohio.gov/swim. Have a safe swim.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
People are going to want to see you fall when you get to the top.
3 stars, 1 season, changing history.
Cardoso for 3. Banks it in! To plan these environments, this is what we work for. We fought so hard all season long.
You could not have scripted a better ending to this magical women's college season.
Kiki Rice, Camila Cardoso, and Caitlin Clark. ESPN Plus Original presents Full Court Press, presented by State Farm. Stream now on ESPN Plus.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Rothman and Ice present Buckeye Bulletin.
Sponsored by Logan AC and Heat Services. Don't go through another air conditioner breakdown. For fast, friendly service, call the experts at Logan Services now for a free estimate and next day air installation.
Time for a little Buckeye Bulletin. New Ohio State University president Ted Carter joined the Real Pod Wednesdays podcast. The guys over at 11 Warriors do a great job with that. Andy Anders and Dan Hope sat down with President Carter. And this has been talked about a lot in the new model of college sports, but I want to let you hear what Ted Carter had to say about Ohio State being self-sufficient and keeping all 36 sports.
We made one big, bold statement, and that is we're going to maintain 36 Division I sports. You know, as I've watched college landscape think about what it means to maintain these sports, it's important once you get them to do everything you can to hold on to them. You don't want to lose that. It's too important to the student athlete. So we've made a declarative statement that we're going to hold on to that. Now, having said that, we've also got to look at what generates revenue. So for us right now, it's football, men's basketball. On occasion, women's basketball can be a contributor there. And we've just got to make sure that we maintain, even with this revenue share model, that we can do everything that we can to be self-sufficient. This program has been self-sufficient, and we anticipate it will be self-sufficient going forward.
And when I hear that, Dane, and then in the same podcast, they talk about Ohio State having a $10 million deficit from last year, which they expected because they only had 6 home games. You have 2 sports and really one sport. Football is bringing in a majority of that revenue. He mentioned men's basketball and sometimes women's basketball. I just don't know how, when you're going to have to start paying these athletes out of this budget. I don't know how they're going to be able to keep all 36 sports. I think it'd be great, but it's one of the things I've always worried about when a revenue share was coming about was, what about that men's volleyball player or that woman's synchronized swimmer, the sport, the fencing? You know, Ohio State has a great fencing program. How are they going to be able to keep all these sports? I just don't know how it's possible.
You're going to start to see, I think, real stress on just the fundamental business model of what university athletics have. You're trying to use them as a huge marketing tool and a revenue generator for the university, but you also kind of have to make it fit into a school that's primary focus is education. So you're running this sports business, and you see this stress now happening. I'm with you. I don't see how you're going to start paying out up to $22 million and still be able to keep everything as it was. Maybe for a couple years, maybe you get some donors to step up like they have in the NIL space. I don't know. I also question how that can shake out, how you can keep things the same.
I know that they're planning on whatever this payment is to the athletes. They also plan on keeping it the same for everyone and then still using NIL a lot in basketball and football and whatnot. It's just interesting, especially on the heels of Justin Hare being hiring and him talking about Ross Bjork telling him that they're not going to have the NIL money that some programs have for baseball and stuff. It's just interesting along the lines somewhere. I think something gets cut. I thought this was interesting. The guys over at 24/7 Sports, actually was Brad Crawford. Well, he was joined by some others, but Brad Crawford was the main one. They did a list of the top playmaking duos in college football history. Number one on the list, Let me get down to it here. Didn't get it all the way down. Number one on the list of all-time college playmaking duos was Tim Tebow. No, I'm sorry. Tebow was second. It was Matt Leinart and Reggie Bush. I don't think a lot of people would argue with that. Number two was Tebow and Percy Harvin. Pat White and Steve Slayton from West Virginia. I don't know if I would have had them in there. Darren McFadden, Felix Jones of Arkansas, Ronnie Brown, and Cadillac Williams. They were a dynamic duo for Auburn. Ohio State had three groups in there. At number 46, they had Chris Olave and Garrett Wilson. We know how dynamic that was. We just talked about that. Nick Bosa and Chase Young were at number 27, two game wreckers on the defensive line. And then A.J. Hawk and Bobby Carpenter were number 22. The first thing I thought about, Dane, when I saw this, where in the heck is Troy Smith and Ted Ginn?
Oh, I thought you were going to say Dane and DeVere. I'm still scrolling.
That's right
it's
there,
just
too.
not on here. But no, I'm with you there. Maybe it's because you'd almost have to add Anthony Gonzalez into that conversation, and then you got three guys. Because it wasn't always Troy to Teddy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that team of receivers was loaded. Yeah, man, those are really good pairings, though.
It was funny. That was just the first one that popped into my head. The guys at 11 Warriors also said, what about Archie Griffin and Pete Johnson? That's a little before my time, but we know how great those guys were. Archie taking the ball downfield and Pete punching it in the end zone. But Troy Smith, Teddy Ginn, that was the first one I thought of.
Yeah, and I think a lot of this, there's a little bit of recency on this. I don't think they went back to Archie's era, but some of these are a blast from the past. Danny Werfel.
Yeah, that's 96 Florida Gators right there in the heyday of Steve Spurrier. Matt Mililer of ESPN, he has come out with his first mock draft for the 2025 season. We will go into that, see which Buckeyes are on that in a deeper dive. That's next. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
If you consider yourself a Buckeye fan, you've come to the right place. This is your heritage sports talker and home of Ohio State Athletics, The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Find savings to celebrate this 4th of July with one stop at Meijer. Pick up fresh from Meijer 80% lean ground beef family pack for just $2.99 per pound. And family pack chicken drumsticks for 99 cents per pound. Bulk sweet corn is 5 for $1 this week. Meijer potato chips are 3 for $6. And Aunt Millie's stadium buns are $1.99. Plus, get even more great deals with buy 5, save $5. Get everything you need for July 4th this week at Meijer. Exclusions apply. See all the deals in store or in the Meijer app.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call, and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit, 800-893-2288, 800-893-2288. 800-893-2288.
This is Paul Keels for Nature Stone Flooring, a unique blend of natural stone and their specially formulated epoxy expertly installed over existing concrete. Nature Stone is the only flooring solution for garages, basements, and indoor spaces. Family owned and operated since 1989, no other company or product can match the features, benefits, and unconditional warranty of an authentic Nature Stone floor. Visit naturestone.com today and schedule your cost estimate. Act now and save up to 50% off any Nature Stone floor. It's not just a floor. Wow, it's Nature Stone.
Do summer projects your way with 4th of July savings from the Home Depot. With free delivery on over 2 million items, you can make the most of summer grilling and dig into gardening. Plus, get same-day delivery on thousands of products like power tools and storage to tackle any last-minute garage project. Summer your way with 4th of July savings from the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Order select and stock items by 4 p.m. subject to availability.
If you're looking to get a new car, you could really cut expenses by bundling your car and renter's insurance with Progressive. Sure, you love your old car, but you know it's not normal to give instructions on how to open the window. It should be self-explanatory, but it's not. And notice how when you're in other people's cars, you can feel cushion in the seats? That's pretty nice, right? No, it's just normal. So bundle your renter's and car insurance with Progressive and put the savings toward a new car. It's time. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company coverage provided and serviced by affiliates and third-party insurers. Not available in all states.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports.
Good afternoon and happy 4th of July. I'm Cam Taylor. The Columbus Crew beat Nashville SC 2-0 last night. Cucho Hernandez had both assists on goals scored by Diego Rossi and Christian Ramirez. The Crew's next game is on Saturday at home against Toronto FC at 7:30. The Cleveland Guardians lost yesterday to the Chicago White Sox 8-2. First pitch today is coming up shortly at 1:10, and Ben Lively will get the start for the Guards. The 2024 MLB All-Stars were announced last night, and the Guardians' Jose Ramirez will make his 6th All-Star Game appearance as the starting third baseman for the AL. And teammate Stephen Kwan will make his first All-Star Game appearance as a starting outfielder. The game will take place on Tuesday, July 16th at 8 p.m. And the Cincinnati Reds beat the New York Yankees 3-2 yesterday. They will look to sweep their 3-game series today at 1:05. Frankie Montas will be on the mound for the Redlegs. Breaking sports news when it happens, 97.1 The Fan.
Most shows just skim the surface, but Rothman and Ice feel like the biggest story of the day deserves a closer look. It's time for a deeper dive.
Sponsored by Maxima Concrete. Visit MaximaConcrete.com today to schedule your free estimate.
Final half hour, Rothman and Ice today, July 4th edition. Glad to have you along with us. Ryan Baker, Dane Sanzenbacher in for the fellas. We're going to get out of here at 1:30 today. Join up with ESPN's coverage of the Phillies and Cubs, some of America's pastime on America's birthday. But we know baseball may be America's pastime, Dane, but football is America's present. NFL and college football. We get a little bit of both here. I don't know if you do, I love mock drafts just because we can all have our opinions on it. We can say this person's an idiot, they don't know what they're doing, or man, I love this guy, I think he's spot on. I don't know if you're the same way. I love that.
I'm not, but I like your enthusiasm.
So Matt Mililer of ESPN came out with his first mock draft, his first round predictions for 2025. Some very interesting things in here. He has trades at the top 2 spots. In today's football, I don't know if we overvalue the quarterbacks, but we overvalue the quarterbacks so much. And he has teams trading up. He has the New York Giants trading up with the New England Patriots to the number 1 spot to get Carson Beck. Then he has the Raiders trading up with Carolina for Shedeur Sanders. Carson Beck, I guess I can see. This is a guy that's played for Georgia. You know, Georgia's won national championships, even though he himself personally has not won one. I can get this with Carson Beck because of what we do with quarterbacks now. The Shedeur Sanders thing, I guess I just haven't seen enough of him. Obviously, he has the athletic ability. But is this almost like a Bronny James situation where he's going number 2 in this draft more because of who his father is?
There might be a little of that. I don't think it's quite to Bronny James level, but I think to answer your first question or respond to your first statement, I think we do overvalue quarterbacks. I think on large part on a football team, there's a lot of overvaluing in the draft. It is what it is because that's how it's been slotted. That's how the pay structure works. But that's a lot of times so much for one guy of 12 or one guy of 24 that are going to be contributing to the team when the talent difference between first round and second, third round is pretty small. I think another thing that these teams are considering too, when you're a franchise, the bump that you get from a Shedeur Sanders draft, it's just fun. And there's something to that that's going to bring people to see, how does this work? Is this a situation where he shouldn't have been drafted this high? He's clearly talented, but you bring all of that. If I was, let me see, who said they were? So it's projected to the Raiders. Okay. So one, there you got Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
They love a show. Two, you're looking at what he and his father were able to do at Colorado, make Colorado the top story in sports for however many weeks it was until they came back to reality. You know, the Las Vegas Raiders are in the business of selling tickets, making money. I could see them doing it. So I'm sure they're weighing a little bit, a lot of it on the talent side, but there's also that brand that they're buying in the Sanders family.
And we know the Raiders historically have drafted freakish athletes,
Mm-hmm.
you know, guys that are just super athletic. They love those athletic traits. So that does make sense with the Raiders there. I think Colorado is going to be one of the most interesting stories in college football this year because you have Shedeur Sanders and you have Travis Hunter as well, who's mocked in this draft to go number 9 to the Arizona Cardinals, a guy that's a cornerback and a receiver, plays both ways, which I think is a bummer. We don't see more guys do that nowadays. But I think Colorado's so interesting as we're talking about this mock draft because I have not been a believer in Deion's way. He's come in and overhauled this roster, and then they overhauled it again this year with the transfer portal. And I know the transfer portal is the way of college football now. There's no real way around it. But I just don't think Colorado, I know they improved to 4-8 last year. They'd only won 1 the year before. I just don't think
they only won 4 games.
Yeah, they won 4-8 last year. I just don't think they're going to be that much better this year with all this roster overhaul. There's got to be some continuity to your team. Like every great team I've ever heard people talk about, yeah, they had athletes, but they talk about there was just this cohesion. It was almost like a family of these guys, you know, and it's hard to do that when you're replacing 40 and 50 guys every year.
It's going to be interesting to see that thought and sentiment play out within the new system. I think there's proof to it. I think Michigan would argue that they had that type of guys that have been there a while. I think if you're looking at, the past few champions could say this was an old team, but on the same front, this is moving more and more towards the transfer portal is the place, is how you're going to do this thing. If you can get veteran players that know how to play, get them in an off season, get them to buy in, you can be successful. But I mean, I think part of the magic of Colorado is it's a polarizing story.
Mm-hmm.
Because just for that, we're going deep into a team that was 4-8 last year that wasn't competing on any major level of. It was kind of inconsequential in the college football landscape. There's something to be said for that. I'm with you. We haven't quite seen in football yet the transfer overhauled roster show big time success. We've kind of seen it in basketball though. So I mean. Maybe we get to a point where that's just until they change the transfer rules or get some kind of longer term contracts for guys. I think we're going to see it more and more.
I think we are as well, unfortunately. You talked about Michigan. A lot of people don't think Michigan's going to be that great this year. I'm one of those ones that says I still think they're going to be okay. Part of the reason I feel that way is they have a lot of talent on the defensive side of the ball still. They've got 2 of those guys in the top 10 here. Does Matt Mililer. He's got Will Johnson, their cornerback, going number 3 to the Denver Broncos. Then at number 7, he has Mason Graham going to the Minnesota Vikings. Interesting pick at number 10. Quinn Ewers going to the New Orleans Saints. And you and I were just talking before this segment about Quinn Ewers, and I can't help but think if he would have stayed, what last year might have been for this Ohio State football team.
He's our favorite what might have been player. Yeah, it's tough because everybody knows how it went. Everybody knows it was a little bit messy, the relationship there, but it's just tough. You had a guy of that talent and that caliber. You're always going to think, well, if we just subbed him in here, I really like his game. I mean, I think he's progressed at Texas. He makes me watch Texas games. So, I mean, that's for a quarterback that's bringing you into really, I don't watch that much, well, now SEC football, but I think he's exciting. That's one we wish we could, at least me. I think it would be fun to have him.
It would have just been so interesting to see, like the whole what ifs. Like, Kyle McCord had a good year, but there was just something it seemed like was lacking the whole time. I don't know if Quinn Ewers would have been better or not, but it'd been interesting to see.
You never know. I think he's had a heck of a career so far. I think it'll be a fun year with how veteran he is to watch what Texas can do. But
especially going to the SEC.
Especially going to the SEC. It's going to get a lot tougher sledding.
Matt Mililer has another Michigan player, tight end Colston Loveland, going 14 to the Colts. He has 4 Buckeyes going in the first round next year. First one is JT coming in to the Atlanta Falcons at number 22. At number 24, Tyleek Williams, defensive tackle, going to the Green Bay Packers. This one is interesting, and we'll come back to this one. The Dallas Cowboys at number 27, taking Quinshawn Judkins, the running back. And then at number 30, Emeka Egbuka going to the Detroit Lions. That seems like a great fit. I'm not sure if Emeka has the year we think he's going to. He's going to be there at 30 for the Lions to take, though. Quinshawn Judkins, though, at number 30 there. That's very interesting because he's coming in here from Ole Miss. He's had great numbers his freshman and sophomore season. Now he's coming in here. He's going to split time with Travion Henderson. And we know when he's healthy, the home run ability that Travion Henderson has. I'm not so sure Quinshawn Judkins is going to be able to get the numbers in this shared offense, plus all the receiving talent we've talked about. But that's interesting, especially not a lot of running backs get picked in the first round anymore. Having him there at number 27 is very intriguing to me.
It's another one of those unknowns coming into the year for us. Yes, okay, great to have that firepower at running back, but how does it shake out? How do the touches work out? It's just I'm still trying to adjust to the landscape where somebody who is projected first-round draft pick transfers from the school they're at. You've clearly had success, got recognition. It's just a new world. I guess you give him some credit, and I have not followed this situation that much, but to a guy, he knows Travion's here. He knows he's going to split the carries. I would take that as he wants to be part of a championship-level team, and I think in the draft, that does still carry weight. If you're still playing into the playoff, if you're making plays, even if you're not the only star on the team, but you're still relevant late in the year, NFL teams pay attention to that. They want guys that have been in big games, know how to win. So, yeah, if he's got the talent to be there, it's going to be interesting.
Ohio State has all the wide receiver talent in the world. We've talked about that, but I think it's going to be so fun with Chip Kelly being here and these guys, Quinshawn Judkins, Travion Henderson, then whoever the quarterback is, whether it's Will Howard or Devin Brown, and their ability to run the football. This rushing attack from Ohio State this year is going to be so fun to watch, I think.
It's all going to be fun to watch play out. I think, like I mentioned, the unknowns of this make it interesting. The unknowns of what a Chip Kelly offense looks like in this. I think they're going to be lucky, and I probably should have pulled up their schedule coming up, but they're going to have some games where they can feel this thing out. There's going to be some growing pains to see what Ohio State's offense is. That's one of those things that I hope, too, in this new reshuffling and new landscape of college football. I'd like more competitive games up front. I know that talent gap is happening, but, one of the great things about how the NFL has structured is that at any week, one team could win. At any week, there's no, gimme games. And I think that, as being a season ticket holder, too, you get to a point at the beginning of the season, it's like, okay, when's the first game I'm going to go to? And I think fans are that way too. We're almost to a point, it's like, if Ohio State's really only in danger of losing once or twice in the first couple months of the season, it's great for us if we think we're going to win, but I'd like to see more competition. And it does seem like we're getting there to a world where you can lose a couple and still be in the hunt in the postseason.
Well, unfortunately, you're not going to see that with Ohio State this year because they start off with Akron, Western Michigan, and Marshall all here in the shoe. But it will be exciting to see them be able to implement some things in this offense, hopefully get some guys in and get them some time to showcase what they can do, get them acclimated to college football. Real quick before we go to a break, in Matt Miller's mock draft for the Browns, he has them drafting at 16, and they have him taking Abdul Carter, an edge rusher from Penn State. He has the Bengals drafting number 25 and taking Isaiah Bond, wide receiver from Texas. We will wrap up the show and tell a little truth coming up next. It's Rothman and Ice on The Fan.
If you're starting your day any other way, you're doing it wrong. Morning Juice with Bobby and Beamer.
Weekdays starting at 6.
The Fan.
Driving plays a big part in driving the local economy. It helps us all get where we're going and creates good jobs close to home. At Synovus Energy, our refineries in Toledo and Lima are a reliable domestic source of gasoline, diesel, and jet fuel. Plus, more than 2,300 employees and contractors work for us here in Ohio. See how we're helping local communities move forward at Synovus.com.
Is arthritic joint pain keeping you from doing the things that you love? Bone-on-bone pain in your knee, arthritic pain like I was having in my knee, maybe your hip, your back, your shoulder. Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. Listen, there are exciting new cellular therapies that you can get lasting relief from. QC Kinetics is helping patients like you every day here in Columbus, led by Dr. Ray Tesner. I'm talking about cutting-edge treatments that accelerate your own body's healing properties, revitalizing your joints so you can move again. Listen, my dad was having knee pain. I was having knee pain. So we went over to QC Kinetics, and they were able to help us out. And 2 years out, I'm still feeling good. My dad can still move around. So learn how QC Kinetics can treat pain and enhance your joints and restore your mobility and give you long-term lasting relief with no downtime. So check them out. Go to 380-208-4544 or head to one of their offices in Dublin, Gehenna, or now the new one that's most recently opened in Grove City.
Hi, it's Bob Capace from Worthington Jewelers. Need a perfect gift? Check out the new line of Glock watches and other stunning jewelry at Worthington Jewelers. Make every occasion sparkle with Worthington Jewelers, where exceptional gifts await.
Hi, this is Ron from the Good Feet store. Are you standing on painful feet all day? Don't lose hope. We want to help you live without pain. Discover your options and visit goodfeet.com.
Sunday's the time for brunching with your favorite people. And when they don't invite you, listen to us. And Fan Sports Sunday with Tito and Devere Posey.
Morning starting at 11.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. To college and a little bit of for a degree. What?
I had a friend that went there and they talked to me.
It was done in just months. They even helped him get immediately after graduation.
Idea is that you where you want.
You could become months with zero. My computer could
work for me, and I know it can work.
It's science. It's computercareer.edu. No, this my roof. Fix before it gets worse.
Oh, but finding a good roofing, like finding a needle in a haystack.
There's only one good roof. No, Nitro Roof. Specializing in resin. And they finish the out cutting quarters. Wow.
They're the real deal.
Call Nitro Roofing today. Fan 10 for 10%. 14714 or visit Nitro Roof.
Do you have trouble out of the bathtub? Are you fall entering or exit? Safe Step walk-in tubs. Bathtub from an area of to a calming refuge. Pay at 1-800-455-8. $1,600. Walk-in tubs and shower in Tennessee and offer Step-in, avoiding that over a traditional bathtub. They also offer a variety of benefits that may help soothe and joints, increasing your boosting your energy and sleep. Safe Step walk designed to easily fit your space and are often installed as one day. Just 100-731 today to save $6 and receive a free That's 1-800-455-8. No obligation consultation. Save $1,600. Safe Step walk-in tub. Never felt so good.
And weather.
AC and Heat Center.
The temperatures are back. We'll see highs later today, feeling 90s, so be prepared for that. We got some showers. Getting ready to move to the area. The lunchtime is slowly taking into 6 o'clock tonight. I'd have to delay the bar. No need to cancel. I'm right with your double fan.
Rothman and Ice. Your local Pella window with boom on Gemini Park.
Tell the truth. Rothman and Ice.
In Peaks. Experience Lodge. Man.
Hey, guys, let's wrap up the show. Please do with a little tell. Cam, go ahead and let's today.
Guys, it's so what's your cookout plate look like?
Favorite cookout plate? Pretty. Go with mine. It's just chicken is hard to do on the. If somebody does barbecue, that is my favorite. Get some pasta salad.
So my people as well. For a cookout, I want there. I want there. Like wavy potato, just regular potato.
And dog guy.
Yeah, but
I don't like the mixed meat. I'm doing meat. I'm just gonna.
I heard someone
animals in me at the same time.
I heard someone say that. Who was? Oh, it was Michael this morning with more juice. Doesn't like mixing his meat.
Thing.
I also some corn on the cob. I the cob on the grill. Give me the cob there as well. Burger dog, some regular chips, and some corn. Who can't handle it?
All right. Y'all saw Bronny did in the second round. Lakers. I think Bronny will actually still be playing in 5.
I gotta be honest on this, but I think Bronny James will be 5 years. I think he didn't do. See, and I know the freshman, and he had as well. This an average 5 points on the year. He would have been drafted. Wasn't his dad if he year. Now maybe he where down the line. I don't. But I just don't think in 5 years. After thought, and he won't be.
I'm gonna say there's something see in sports from you see in baseball. I don't know this level. Well, yeah, you do. Well, these guys that came find a way. I think it will not boring, but if you learn defender, if he that he like ability to. That's an effort play. I think you can squeeze out. Did you say
I know my truth. And today, that nice how many in 12 minutes? 2, 3 to 4, 5 to 6 or 7.
I tried on this. I'm gonna say I'm pretty sure what every yeah. The story about this. Before I give you my answer. This was years ago. The Burst still played it. I might have school. I'm not sure. They had done Clippers games, and I would go in, and I'm as I can on a pace, and I don't know what were, but I of 3 through the first. So I got 15 down. 5 innings, and I can't do any more. You feel good that night. It was not a pleasant experience, so it's probably not a good idea. Yeah, if I was really hungry, I would say
7+. I don't want to. So I'm going to go in the 5. It's not really about. I know. I think you'd be helped by the 12 because you're going to get so many in before. Like, there's a delay.
And when you're not hungry anymore, you just spread it out too long. You would feel terrible, but I think you could get through.
All right, you convinced me. I'm going 7.
You ain't lying. And the Reds and Guardians, do you guys think they'll be buyers or sellers at the trade deadline?
So I think, and obviously there's a little time before the trade deadline, so I think things could go bad for the Reds possibly. I think the Guardians are definitely buyers. They're the number 2 or 3 team in the American League right now. They were the first team in the American League before last night. I had heard something that the Guardians were looking at possibly bringing in 2 arms and an outfield bat. So the Guardians definitely buyers. I think the Reds are close enough. I think they're going to be buyers as well.
I'm just going to concur with you on both of them, Ryan, because you could have told me that the trade deadline already happened, and I would have said, okay.
So not following the baseball very closely.
I try to, but they've made it so hard. I don't have Bally. So, I mean, it's hard to catch some of these games and follow them like I'd like to.
I may or may not have a box that allows me to get whatever kind of TV I want, so I don't have to worry about Bally's or not.
I am a law-abiding citizen.
The truth shall set you free.
Just hypothetically speaking. I'm not saying for sure I may or may. I can't confirm or deny, but Dane, it was awesome having you being in here with you for your first show. You're going to be back, I heard, tomorrow night on the Buckeye Show with Tito.
I will. I'll be back at 6 o'clock tomorrow, and I appreciate you having me, Ryan. This was fun.
Absolutely. This was a lot of fun. I'll be back in with Timmy and Tyvis for Bishop and Friends tomorrow from 9 to noon right here on The Fan. Please come back tomorrow with all of your digits. We don't want anybody losing anything, losing any fingers, losing any toes, setting off fireworks, but enjoy your 4th of July and the food. This has been Rothman and Ice, 97.1 The Fan.
Want to know anything about the Fans contest, how to win, or what's up for grabs? Check out 971thefan.com. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Diamond Seller's Wedding Weekend is back. Shop buy one, get one half off wedding bands, 20% off diamond anniversary bands, and special offers on diamond engagement rings. Visit us at Diamond Seller's Wedding Weekend, Friday, July 26th and Saturday, July 27th on Sawmill Road.
If you have ever thought about remodeling your bathroom but were worried it would take too long or cost too much, then stop worrying. Right now, Jacuzzi Bath Remodel has designed a collection of high-quality custom products and perfected the one-day remodeling experience so you can enjoy your new bathroom faster than ever before. It's a worry-free bath remodel from the most trusted brand name in the business, Jacuzzi. A jacuzzi bath system fits in your existing tub space. It's a no-mess installation with an amazing style selection, factory-certified installers, and a limited lifetime warranty. Call 800-717-4599. That's 800-717-4599 right now and get 50% off installation with no interest and no payments for 12 months. Replace that old bathtub today with a walk-in shower for a safer bathing experience. If you have lived in your home for over 15 years, it's time to remodel your bathroom. For a virtual or in-home appointment, call 800-717-4599. That's 800-717-4599. 800-717-4599.